Not Everest doesn't exist.
Listen, I don't think I could get that one to stick if I had well done pasta.
You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
File access granted.
Hello, all you believers, idealists, skeptics, and all those who question the universe around them. I'm Bailey.
And I'm Ty.
And it's summertime. We're so excited.
It is. It's Cult Talk Conspiracy Summer at Sea. This will be the second part of our summer-long, all sea-based conspiracies and mysteries and high strangeness and cryptids and all kinds of crazy stuff. All of it taking place at sea, so you can hashtag question everything before you go into the water.
Absolutely. Yes. I love these kind of stories because they scare the crap out of me, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
That Titanic.
I've always had like a fearful fascination of the ocean.
Yeah, no, there's no, like, it's cool to learn about and whatnot, like, but there's definitely more fear than fascination over there. I'm like, nope, it's good. I'm okay. I'm good being afraid. It's fine. So, like, would you ever go, like, swimming in, like, the open ocean?
I don't think so. I don't think I'd ever go swimming in the open ocean. I'd be up for, like, cruises and stuff like that, but I don't think I'd ever just, like, swim out off a boat or something in the open ocean. It just seems a little too dangerous for me.
Nope, I'd be paranoid the whole time. I would.
Yeah, you don't know what's below you. That's the creepiest thing about the ocean. There's so much. You're only getting like 50% of your awareness, and you don't know what's below the surface anywhere around you.
And the depth perception is so far off. Like, I love those pictures and whatnot of you seeing like a cup underwater and like the base of the cup is like all the way over on the left and then like underwater and then above water. It's so different. That's really cool. I don't know. The ocean is very fascinating just as a science.
Oh yeah. And it's just so full of mystery. I mean, we only know so little about our oceans. I mean, it's a very generic, like kind of just generic thing to say. Is they're always like, oh, we know more about space than we know about our oceans, but it is a fascinating concept that we know more about what's out there than what's right here on our own planet.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm so excited because today we're going to be talking about the terror from the deep past.
I love sharks. I love shark movies. I love shark novels.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of Steve Alton's The Meg series. Yes. Jaws, obviously, it's one of my favorite films of all time. I love all things sharks.
Yeah.
Street Sharks was one of my favorite cartoons when I was a kid. Anything sharks.
I need to look into the Street
Sharks. Oh, it was around the time that Ninja Turtles was popular.
Oh, okay.
So like every company had to come up with their own Ninja Turtle type thing, and there was a show called Street Sharks, and it was about these radical teens that got turned into skateboarding sharks.
Oh my gosh.
It was a fun show.
That's awesome.
Anything sharks, I love. I love all shark movies.
My mom really likes sharks. She's always had like a really big fascination with sharks. So growing up, we saw Jaws. Like back when I was at Universal, we went on the Jaws ride a lot together. And then when it closed down, that broke my heart into millions, trillions of little pieces.
I never got to ride it. That would break my heart that I never got to ride it. I'm pretty sure there's still one in California. But there wasn't one when I was in Florida. They replaced it with Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty awesome.
It's great. So. It's wonderful. Like I want my damn Jaws ride back, okay?
Yeah.
But like I learned a lot about sharks like through, my mom and, watched Shark Week all the time on Animal Planet when that came on. Of course, like we went and we saw the Meg together when it came out. I don't know if we're going to go see the Meg 2 yet together. We haven't made plans yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did. So that's where that kind of comes from. But today we are going to be talking about the king itself. We've talked about a few kings on this show, actually.
We do. We talk about a lot of kings here at Cult Talk Net.
Yes. Cult of Kings. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Very well be.
The Megalodon. So I am so ready to dive deep into this file and unseal this file. I'm ready.
Can't have a summer at sea without the most fearsome creature to ever roam the seas. Man, I'm excited to hear what you found. Cause I've looked a little bit into like Meg stuff. Mainly because I read Steve Alton's The Meg when I was very young.
Oh wow!
And
okay.
that really stuck with me growing up because it was fascinating me. It was such a cool story, and just it opened my a whole world of possibility of this giant megalodon roaming the oceans. I remember I wrote like a megalodon short story once. I was in elementary school and stuff about a megalodon that got loose from a lab and shit, just stuff like that. I remember being very, very much into the megalodon. I think I did one of my either junior high or late elementary school. I did like for science fair. I did like a categorization of all the prehistoric giant sharks.
Oh wow! Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Is your mom like my mom and like keeps all your poster boards and shit that you did?
I don't talk to my mom, so I don't know. I doubt it. But my dad's pretty like that. But
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
But no, my dad does that sometimes. He likes to hang on to stuff.
Yes. But if Dad Alexander still has it, I want to see this. I could probably learn.
Daddy still keep that. But yeah, let's. Are you ready to dive on into this deep mystery?
Yes. My lungs heard going underwater, and they're like, "What? No, bitch, no." But yes, let's unseal this file and begin hunting the Megalodon. So this was a topic I was really excited to, pun totally intended, dive deep into. So,
yeah, I was surprised when we was lining up Summer at Sea. You had it on your list. I was surprised.
Because I'm one of those people, I'm going to be straight up with everybody. I think there is probably a Megalodon somewhere out there. There might only be like one or two, but I think there's probably one, like maybe just still hanging on for dear life, literally. But I think there might be one out there. I'm not saying there is or isn't, but I think the possibility is there.
Well, here's your chance to present your evidence then.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Change some people's minds.
So megalodons about 20 million years ago actually lived in most regions of the world. It lived off of most continents. However, its favorite spots were toward the west. So, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but they mainly hovered around the North and South America western side. So like over towards like California and west that way. So megalodons were mostly made out of cartilage, which is closely, and they're mostly
cartilage.
Cartilage,
yeah. It's what our bone. It's it's cartilage. Yeah.
Yeah. Cartilage.
Not what our like noses are made out of and shit. Yeah.
And our ears, and then it can't be fossilized either. So that's why we don't find any full skeletons of most sharks, is because it can't, like cartilage can't be fossilized. They're actually closely related to mako sharks, which is a common mistake because they're actually mostly compared to great white sharks mistakenly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I remember like it's usually like in all the megalodon fiction I've read, it's always like basically a great white shark blown up like 2 or 3 fold.
Yeah, and it's super weird because when you look into the research of it, like the coloring is totally different. But honestly, like through my research, I found people who have witnessed both, almost a totally white, giant shark and a totally black giant shark as well. So it's
runs
interesting.
The spectrum, yeah.
Yeah, it's on both sides of that. But there's actually not only with a lot of megalodon teeth that are actually mostly found off the Florida coast, which is really weird because remember I said that they like to hang around those western waters. So why are we finding megalodon teeth in Florida?
Yeah, true.
So not only do we find a lot of Megalodon teeth, but there's also a few Megalodon vertebrae that were fossilized, and they've been able to pull all kinds of genetic research and studies from, which is how they found the close relation to the mako sharks as well. So they're able to, like, off of these vertebrae, it's fucking insane. So, like, they're able to determine, like, size, age.
Wow.
Like, I don't think.
Just off a vertebrae.
Just off a vertebrae. Like, they do all these certain tests to it and whatnot. Big sciencey stuff. I have no idea. When I heard all the stuff they were coming up with, I'm like, are you sure? So Megalodons were big puppies. They were big boys. So they could get up to 60 feet long and weighing anywhere between 30 metric tons, which is 66,000 pounds, to 65 metric tons, which is 143,000 pounds. And they could move at 16 feet a second.
Jesus.
Something that big. That freaking big. Coming at you.
That's a city bus with teeth.
Yeah, for real. It was actually like 2 or 3 buses. And like, there's this beautiful video out there that I watched at one point, and it was like all of the different sea creatures, like from now and like 10, 13, 14 billion years ago. And it showed a scuba diver swimming through the ocean, and it would, like, get up next to these sea creatures. And I think it started at like 100 foot, and then it went all the way to a Megalodon. And it like that swimmer, I think, did, like, because I counted them, it did like 8 or 10 strokes before it finally was done and got past the Megalodon. It's a really cool video. I very much enjoyed it, because they also do the plesiosaur as well. So Nessie.
Yep.
Which they actually estimated that both the Megalodon and the plesiosaur were around the same size. So, which I thought was very interesting.
That's a shitty sci-fi movie I've yet to see. Nessie versus Megalodon.
Nessie likes cold water.
I might have to put my put some pen to paper. Maybe I can write out a.
Does it happen in the waters near Bulgaria?
Yep, that's what, off the coast of the sunny, touristy coast of Bulgaria.
Can we have like a big storm come in and like it knocks Nessie out of like the river, and Nessie's trying to find its home again, and
she gets sucked up into a sharknado.
Oh my god!
And carried over to.
Oh my!
But that's interesting. Nessie and the Meg
are the same size?
roughly the same size.
Roughly the same size?
Never knew that.
I would have thought the plesiosaur would have been way bigger, to be honest with you.
Because it's got that neck, that big ass neck.
Yeah, because that was my first question, was when I heard like the Megalodon is like, they are the largest predators to ever be in the oceans, ever. Like any body of water, they're huge. They're like 60 foot long and weigh like fucking tons.
So they're bigger than the blue whale. Because isn't a blue whale like 90, like almost 100, basically 100 feet, right?
They could get a lot bigger. So blue whales have actually, because I did look this up as well, because blue whales actually started to grow after the Megalodon disappeared, or it went extinct, because there was nothing there to feed on them. There was their predator had gone away, which is actually what it's kind of, it brings up a topic. It brings up a theory that I thought I was going to bring up much later on, but we'll go ahead and get it out of the way. So there's this thing, and I can't remember where I heard it from originally, but it's the organism will grow however much you will allow it to grow. And it kind of reminds me of like the little pill foamy things you used to get, and you dip them in water, and then they would get a lot bigger.
And they just soak up water and grow and grow.
Yeah. So that's my thing, is like, if it has all of this space and it's got this much room to grow, what's stopping it from being able to grow other than an apex predator?
True. Yeah.
So something to keep in your noggins. Yes, and Megalodons would actually hunt whales, and that would be the baleen whales, sperm whales, killer whales, and dolphins. They also preyed upon manatees and sea cows, and these are like big animals. Like, I got up close to a manatee, like through the glass at the zoo one time, and I was like, this thing is freaking huge. Like, oh my gosh. Like, that's another thing with sea animals. Like, they're really big. And I just, I even get like that with like normal animals. Like, actually, no, I don't. If it's a land animal, I'm like, come here, you're so cute. I'm biased. Oh, yeah. So speaking of sperm whales, so there was actually a fossil of a megalodon. It was actually one of those vertebrates we mentioned, and it actually showed injuries that had been credited to a sperm whale. So apparently sperm whales and megalodons would they would either feed upon each other or they definitely went at it a couple of times. So, which I mean, if you're being hunted and you're trying to get away, yeah.
Yeah, fight or flight. That's a pretty big animal to scare.
Mm-hmm. So megalodons who were mature, mature megalodons would get between the 30 and 60 foot long. So they start as like a baby, which would be comparable to like our great white sharks between like 6 and 15 feet long. So that's just a baby megalodon is like the size of our great white sharks.
Wow.
So megalodons who were mature in between that, 30 to 60 foot range that were still growing, they really didn't have anything hunting them, mainly due to their enormous size. Like it would take, 2 or 3 sperm whales to take it out, or maybe just one, like the one that had some injuries there. So, but their young megalodons, the pups, who would be just born or, super, super little, would actually be about the size of great white sharks. So about that 6 to 15 foot range. Remember how I said there was a bunch of megalodon teeth found in the coast of Florida?
Yep.
So there was actually a megalodon nursery found in Panama, Florida. It's a bunch of these megalodon baby teeth that, because if you've ever seen a megalodon tooth, and if you haven't, I very much encourage you to look it up because it's fascinating. A megalodon tooth could be anywhere from, I think, 6 to 9 inches. Haha. But they're as big as your hand, basically. So these baby megalodon teeth were about, 4 or 5 inches, and they were brittle as well. They weren't as strong as the adult, big, 6 to 9 inch megalodon tooth. So that automatically started to point scientists to this is a baby. This is something new. Because it still had all the same characteristics of a megalodon tooth. Megalodon teeth are actually serrated. So they have like little knife serrations on them.
Yep.
I thought that was super cool because they actually got that through evolution. They didn't originally start like that.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, wow. Yeah. That would suck. Like, so also you're getting like bit by this gigantic thing, but also you're getting your like flesh ripped to pieces.
Yeah. So I can't.
Great whites are that way too, right?
Like I think so. I think so. Megalodons are not the only one that have ever had serrated teeth.
Right.
But there have been a bunch of recreations of megalodon jaws that have been made. There was actually one that was historically made because not only was it accurate to size, but it also, from what we can assume would be accurate to size, but it was also made entirely of real megalodon teeth. So
I've seen that. Is that the black and white one?
Mm-hmm.
All the people in it? Yeah, I've seen that. That's like a classic, iconic picture. Yeah,
absolutely.
I like the one Animal Planet. I think they made like a giant megalodon jaw that was also hydraulic, and they had like had it set to like the actual bite pressure of a megalodon shark, and they would like feed it like a big fucking chunk of beef.
Oh gosh.
A tree trunk or something. And have it just slam down on it to show what kind of damage it could do.
I think I saw a video with that one, and the one I saw they were having it clamped down on like gelatin. That way you could see the marks in it, and I mean that was impressive. It was really cool because like all sharks actually have they shred their teeth over time. So that was why when they found the baby teeth, like they were so brittle and whatnot, because sharks will actually shed like thousands of teeth over time. It's kind of like us and our fingernails. So it happens by, it breaks off on prey, the bite force, and then also growth as well. You outgrow your baby teeth. So sharks also have multiple rows of teeth. Megalodons actually have 42 front row teeth and 24 upper jaw teeth. and 22 lower jaw teeth, and those are in nice, neat rows of 6. And that equals to a full mouth of 276 teeth.
Woo!
That is scary, just alone. And just think about this: a Meg's bite force is 108,514. Right? Is that how you say that word? That number?
Possibly. I'm really bad with saying big numbers.
We're just gonna go with it.
That gives me anxiety anytime I go in for like an oil change. I have to. I'll Google. Like I'll look at my car and I'll Google like how do you say this, because I hate being put on the spot when you pull up to my desk or whatever and they ask you your mileage. Gives me anxiety every time.
I won't. I'm like, I haven't had it. I set it to the gas meter because I never look at my gas. I literally need to look at the number or else I'm going to forget. Like, yeah. So 108,514. I hope I said that number right. Newtons, which is 25,000 pounds of bite force.
Ooh.
So holy shit.
How many pounds? Repeat that. How many pounds?
That was 25,000 pounds just clamping down. And its jaw actually spanned anywhere from 8.5 to 11 foot wide. So they don't even have to open their mouths completely to just swallow us whole. Just swallow us whole. That's it. Like, it's not even a yawn for them. They're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how do you survive that? I mean,
you don't. You don't.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, like anything is like, I don't see what could even withstand that sort of pressure. I mean, I don't know. That's impressive.
Yeah, it was very humbling looking at that number. I'm like, that's not right. So where is this impressive creature now? A lot of scientists actually speculate that climate change, along with the ocean changes of coastlines and shifts in the waves, led to the Meg's extinction. So Megs are only able to really survive in warmer waters. That's why we mostly saw them off the western waters, because they're notoriously warmer. So as the ocean waters grew cooler, thank you, Ice Age. We're going to get into that in a moment. The Meg actually began to decline in population. So we see, kind of this, like, really just decline. Like, they're not breeding anymore. They're dying off. The water's getting colder. They're not able to survive. Their young are unable to survive and hunt because they aren't able to go any further up into the ocean surface. So, basically what happened was, or what I think happened, I'm getting ahead of myself. Hang on. So, we'll go back. Ocean shifts. That's where we are. So ocean shifts through natural occurrences like tsunamis and hurricanes and tectonic shifts. The ocean would actually change direction. And so we see this a lot, like Pangea. This bitch don't know about Pangea. We see that a lot through Pangea. And, that's kind of how we get, I don't know. If we go down Pangea, it's going to be a lot, guys.
I feel like Pangea could be its own episode.
It really does have to be. It has to be. Because here's the thing. I looked at you and I was like, I don't know about Pangea. And then I was like, I need to look at it more because, yeah. So I looked at it and now I'm obsessed. So now you never did like the puzzle thing in elementary school? No.
I remember at elementary school, they had us we cut out all the continents, the paper, and then we shuffled them around to make them fit to make Pangea. That was like a thing we did in elementary school.
No, I didn't. Wow. I never did that. I lived under a rock. We went to live under a rock school.
No.
We weren't allowed to know otherworldly things.
I know my elementary school in the middle of nowhere in Southern Ohio was pretty regressive. I can imagine we were more scientifically inclined than whatever school you went to.
I don't know. I don't know.
We weren't allowed to read Harry Potter for the longest time in my school.
Oh, yeah. I remember going to the library the day all the Harry Potters came out, and my mom got them, and she read them, and then we never read them, but she always, she was a big Harry Potter fan, or she is a big Harry Potter fan.
For the longest time at my middle school, it was, taboo for a while.
Oh, my gosh.
Can't have those. Yeah, those
witchcraft.
Sorcerers and witches, but Yeah, that was a thing I remember doing in elementary school, was cutting out the continents, and you place them together and they all just fit semi perfectly. I mean, it's not like they fit together exactly like a puzzle, but it's pretty interesting how things, when you move them around, it's like, oh, that does go there.
It is really cool. It's really cool. It makes me honestly kind of wonder what some of the world would look like if we shrink our oceans down just a wee bit. Like if we would find, like obviously we would find more land, but like how much of it would just like top off?
Right.
Like just, nope, this is the edge of the earth. Like that alone could be another episode as well. But back to our friend the Megalodon. So the ocean is starting to cool down. The megs are not populating. There's a decline in their population. Ocean shifts, and the ocean changing direction. Another theory that I was really excited to get to before this actually goes hand in hand with the megs' hunting grounds changing. It's food source migrating. So sperm whales, manatees, and many more of the megs' prime dining were finding their ways toward the cooler waters, as they were not, if at all, affected by the temperature change, also saving them from the meg.
Yep.
So
Win-win.
we have a lot of factors going against our boy here. He's not doing so hot. So what do we have a lot to talk about, but first we're going to get into the Ice Age, because we have to know what caused this cooling. What do you think about global warming, Ty?
I think it's pretty obvious. It's
pretty obvious.
Thing. It's hard to deny.
It really is.
It's
really
hard. When people do the mental gymnastics to say that's not how it works, it's like,
No.
well, that's clearly how what's happening. So
honestly, I think if we were in the picture or not as humans, I think the end result would still be the same.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, look how close to the sun we are as a planet. Like we're not meant to be cold.
Well, I don't think squirrels or rabbits are going to be like producing massive factories that just blow carbon dioxide into the environment to heat up the ozone. But I think they'd probably be a little better off than what we are now if it wasn't for us human beings ruining everything like we do.
Hey, we're just... I don't want to say we're a species that likes to destroy. However,
we absolutely do.
We are a very complex species because we can create like all kinds of chaos, but we can also create some of the most beautiful things as well. I mean, look at the pyramids and the Taj Mahal and the Mount Everest as well. Like, I mean, there's such artistry that we've created and such beauty.
We created Mount Everest?
Mount Rushmore.
Okay, you said Mount Everest. I was like, I don't think we had any hand in creating Mount Everest. I must have missed that part.
My gods did.
Yeah.
But
Mount Rushmore. Okay.
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Everest, I don't think was a man-made creation.
I was so in the moment. It's like, don't take me out. But yes, Mount Everest, Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore. We created Mount Rushmore, not Mount Everest. I'm not that mean.
Is that a new conspiracy theory that
I don't think I could get that one to stick?
Mount Everest is man-made.
Listen, I don't think I could get that one to stick if I had well done pasta.
Just 2x4s and paper mache is all it is.
Basically, yeah.
Mount Everest doesn't exist.
So, you know what I did find, though? We're going to talk a little bit about Mount Everest in a comparison. So that's why it's in my brain. But first, we're going to talk about the Ice Age, which happened about 3 million years ago, is the soonest Ice Age, or the most recent Ice Age, I should say, was about 3 million years ago. And it was caused by many different factors, like the ocean changing, volcanic eruptions, atmosphere circulation patterns. There was also plate tectonic movement, which caused the continents to move, Pangea, the land, and also one really, really, really big thing. So the land bridge between North and South America formed. We know this as Mexico. Mm-hmm. So, and that ended the flow of water that would go between the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans.
Oh, okay.
So we have a major ocean shift here. That by itself could cause us to go into an ice age. And I'm going to go ahead and pause right here because I know there is a giant conspiracy theory about the ice age being caused by a meteor. I am very sorry, my conspiracy heads. However, I found evidence that suggests the otherwise, although I do want it to be true. I know I'm very sad as well. I It's such a much more fun fantasy. Although I do still think it took out the dinosaurs. I just think we got our timelines mixed up there.
Yeah.
So the Mariana Trench, which is Earth's deepest place. So we've got the Ice Age going on right now. And now we're going to talk about a place that is actually home to the lowest depths of the Earth. 2 of them, actually. So we're going to talk about the Mariana Trench. This is actually coined Earth's deepest place. It's home to 2 of the lowest depths on the entire planet.
Oh.
Yeah. That sentence alone just screams nope to me. Which is absolutely terrible, because I know there are people out there that are like, I want to go dive in it, and I'm like, Ben's over there like, that's me. Yeah, it's me.
Didn't James Cameron?
Yes,
Trench.
Yes, he's actually like discovered like some sort of bacteria that was down there.
Yeah, he's a modern day adventure man.
He really is.
I watched a video not too long ago about the Mariana Trench where it got really popular around COVID.
Really?
And like a large percentage of the people to have ever reached the Mariana Trench occurred during COVID.
I wonder
people
why.
Didn't have anything better to do, I guess.
Huh.
Interesting. Get bored, you just go to the Mariana Trench.
Let's just go to the deepest place on Earth. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, alrighty. I guess that's kind of like philosophical, romantic. I don't know. Or maybe just like a fun adventure. I don't know. I find nothing appealing about this place. Like, to be honest with you, this like scares the shit out of me. Like, Ben's over here like, I want to go diving in it. And I'm like, sign the will.
Yeah. It is a fascinating place. I find it fascinating.
It's interesting.
What could be?
It's interesting from afar. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that's my standpoint. But the Mariana Trench is actually located in Western Pacific. In the Western Pacific, it's actually east of the Mariana Island, which is near Guam. So again, we're still in those western waters. And the crescent-shaped trench is actually home to a lot of unique wildlife along with ecosystems. Mm-hmm. There are actually vents that will puff up liquid sulfur and I think carbon dioxide. It's either carbon dioxide or I don't know. It definitely pumps up liquid sulfur. I thought I was going to remember that. I was wrong. Write your notes down, kids. There's also mud volcanoes, and there are deep sea creatures that have actually adapted to much heavier sea pressures. So there's already deep sea creatures, but these are like deeper sea creatures. You know what always gets me is the headlamp fish, the lampfish.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah. That's an interesting one.
He's freaky looking. Like, I was watching a thing on him.
All the stuff down there is very freaky looking.
I think that's why I have like such an adverse to sea life. From like, it just looks weird. I don't know. I mean, it's beautiful. It's so amazing. Like, I mean, like undersea, like stuff underwater is like the true example of life finds a way, because the way that they just have to adapt and just, it's amazing. It's cool. Like I said, it's cool, but from afar. So the Challenger Deep is actually the first of the 2 deepest points. Researchers found through sound pulses sent through the ocean and determined that the Challenger Deep was actually 36,070 feet deep. And this was in a study done in 2010. 11 years later, in 2021, another study was conducted using pressure sensors, and it found that the Challenger's deepest point was 35,876 feet. And we have more studies of the deepness of the Challenger Deep, and it all varies by 1,000. So I have a theory.
Huh. So we don't have, like, I guess, like a definitive...
No.
Determination on the depths of the Challenger Deep.
Nope, all vary by 1,000.
Wow.
So here's my thing: what if the floor moves?
Okay.
Like, what if like the floor is shifting? I don't know how it would do that because I'm not that smart in this area, but that's just my guess.
It's just a theory. A theory, yeah. What in the the movie, not the book, but in the movie, like the idea was there was like what we perceive to be the bottom of the Challenger Deep or the bottom of the Marianas Trench.
Oh yeah,
was actually like a layer of like silt that was covering a hidden ancient ocean. And that was interesting. That was one of the more interesting parts of that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was
that idea.
It was either a theory or another story that I heard, but it was like a lake, like a cool lake.
Yeah. And there is stuff like that in the ocean where you can find just these like random little pockets,
which is weird.
Yeah, very weird.
That's what gets me about like some like I can't remember the movie name. Oh, we watched it not too long ago. I'm bad at remembering movie names. But it was this cave diver that went underwater, like underwater cave diving. Don't get me started. And they
couldn't even imagine.
I can't. And basically, they went into this cave, and there was a pocket in there where they could take off their gear, and there was oxygen in this pocket, and they would have to put their gear back on, and then go underwater, and then dive again in order to reach the surface. So there's actually a really cool or a really good Mr. Ballin story that talks about, well, it's not really cool. It's actually really gruesome, to be honest with you. It broke my heart of these divers that went into one of those caves like that. And the cave like shifted and it trapped 4 out of 5 of the divers. And like the government, and I don't want to say what country I think it is in case I'm wrong, but the government like basically decided that it was too dangerous to go save the 4 other divers and like let them die.
Is it a government that you're suspecting that might be a little close to home?
I think it was the Russian government, to be honest, if I'm correct. I don't know. I just don't like shitting on people when I don't know it. Like I'll shit on you if I know for a fact this is true. But if I'm guesstimating, I don't want to be like, you did this.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? If you want to get shit on my Bailey, just get to know her a little bit. She'll do whatever you want. She's open for business. But no, I've seen that. I haven't watched that Mr. Ballin because I've seen the like promotional stuff for it. Like he was like teasing it.
Oh yeah.
And I knew I was going to trigger my
no.
I have like a mild form of claustrophobia, like extreme claustrophobia, I would say. Like,
oh man.
An extreme case of claustrophobia. I'm fine with most spaces, but something like that would absolutely rack my nerves.
Yeah. No, I can't do it. It's just the fact that like I don't know. I don't like not being able to breathe. I don't like that at all. Like most people wouldn't. But I don't know. I've experienced like drowning before, and that has absolutely scarred me for life. Like that is the number one way I do not want to go. I will fight tooth and fucking nail to not go by drowning. Absolutely not.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Jesus.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, we're talking about the Mariana Trench. So the Serena is actually the second deepest point in the Mariana Trench, and it is located 124 miles to the east of the Challenger Deep, and it was determined to be 35,462 feet deep consistently. So there's no differentiating or varying measurement there. So what's interesting, what I found was actually really cool, is Mariana Trench ocean floor is actually believed to be about 180 million years old, making it the world's oldest ocean floor in the entire world.
Okay.
So, and I'm not gonna... This is big scientific words that I don't completely understand how this happened, so bear with me, please. Okay. So basically what happened when the Titanic when the Titanic plates were shifting and we were going through that movement, it would move the ocean floor and it would move the sands around. So basically, it would create kind of like these slopes where sand and the ocean floor would, move to the west, and the Mariana Trench would keep catching portions of it and not really letting it go. So it's got like all of these portions of the ocean floor like at the bottom of it, making it the oldest. So super cool. And like I said, I might have butchered that, but that was to my understanding. So the Mariana Trench is not a very comfortable place to live. So it's got crushing pressures. It's completely dark. There's only about 3 species that are commonly known down there, and that's the I'm sorry for this pronunciation. The xenophores, which are like a mackerel, the amphipods, which honestly look like a little. They look honestly like these little. This is funny. They look like these little baby sharks that my dad used to get us as kids. Like they're just like real long and skinny. And I didn't even make that like. I didn't even really think about that as I was writing this story. Yeah, my dad, when we lived in Georgia, would get us baby sharks from like the local pet store, and those were our fish. That is how deep this runs. Which I don't even know if you can still get those anymore, to be honest with you. I have no idea what the local pet store's fish collection looks like anymore, but I used to be all about it. Oh, and there's small sea cucumbers that live down there as well. And most of these organisms are found in the trench. So we have very, very few things that have not only adapted to living there, but can live there as well. So the Mariana snailfish was actually discovered in 2017. So as early as 2017, and I don't recall when James Cameron's bacteria was discovered, but we're still finding things in the Mariana Trench to this day. That is how deep and how vast this place is. And it's just, I'm pretty sure it's a portal to hell. I'm not going to lie. It's deep enough.
The entrance to hell lies at the bottom of the Marianas Trench.
Probably. It wouldn't shock me. You get all the way down to the bottom and there's a sign that says abandon all hope, all ye who enter. Like that's not going to shock me whatsoever. I'm going to be like, yep, portal to hell right there. The Mariana snailfish would actually live at 26,200 feet deep. And the snailfish actually looked deceptively meek as it was pink with no scales, but would actually rise above as it could go deeper into the trench and hunt the abundance of prey that would have no predator. And it could just keep going deeper and deeper until like all of these swarms of, basically mackerel were devoured.
Jeez.
Yeah. So now we're going to get into my theory, my lovely, lovely theory on why I think the Meg is probably still out there somewhere. At least one. So a theory is that the Meg, before all else had gone extinct, before all the rest of the Meg had gone extinct, there had been an evolution of the Meg. A very small one, but one that would prove quite pertinent. So this being that they would be able to tolerate deeper waters and deeper pressures. So a small number of Megalodon would survive the environmental changes due to an acclimation into deeper environments. These very large sharks would have been seen in western areas near where the Megs used to live later on. So if the Megs are able to live in the Mariana Trench for a period of time, they would have had to adapt to these deeper waters. They would have had to adapt to the darkness. So they would look a lot different due to their evolution of changing environments. So that's why we might not know what exactly a Meg might look like today. And
true,
what we're seeing could vary between, a lot of what we find history to be and what, they've been living in for the past like 3 million years.
Yeah. Because wherever they eventually migrated or got pushed to, that's what they're going to adapt to.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because I know like one of the things that the Meg movie and the book had different. One of the more notable things is the Meg in the books is called Angel. That's the name of the Meg, because it's living in the Marianas Trench and it becomes like almost fluorescent white.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like it has like a white glow to it. And that's one of the things he didn't do in the movie, which I read like, I guess it's like very hard to like make something like that make sense in the real, like look good in like the real world. Like it would have looked like fake.
Oh, we would have noticed it was CGI.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, darn.
I guess was
dang.
The main concerns, which I'm always pro. Because like all people always talk about the Meg in general. The
Mm-hmm.
book is the idea of a Meg living in cold water. It
Mm-hmm.
does. The Marianas Trench is a very cold place.
Oh yeah,
coldest places on Earth as far as the ocean goes.
Yeah, there's absolutely no light. There's not a speck of light down there.
So that's one of the things that you mentioned earlier about, Megs lived in warm water. Like, how would one even venture to, the bottom of the ocean? It would, surely die as it travels to the bottom of the ocean. But, to that I say, if I'm reading a book about a megalodon that eats a T-Rex in the first chapter, I really don't care much about scientific facts at that point. But
the way I read it, well, not even the way I read it, but the way I would think this to be would be like they would slowly descend into the water. Like it wouldn't be like, let's go down.
Slowly adapting.
Yeah, slowly adapt to deeper and deeper and deeper until they got all the way down.
Right. Makes sense.
I'm really excited because this is so we're going to talk about 2 Megalodon sightings. Okay. And their appearances are complete polar opposites of one another. So have you ever heard of the black demon shark of Mexico, Ty?
Of course, the black demon, star of the new summer hit film, The Black Demon, which comes out with Josh Lucas. Have you not seen the trailer of that yet?
No, I haven't. No, we're not even on camera right now, and he already knows. Like Bailey hasn't seen this.
Yeah, it just came out. It's good looking fucking movie. It comes out it will have already been in theaters by the time this comes out.
Oh shit! Nice. We have a new movie to see. Ben's walking past.
Badass.
But yeah, oh man, that makes me excited now. Oh, now it's faded. I must go see this.
But I've known about the Black Demon for a while, and there's also like a History Channel, one of those History Channel fake mockumentary things about the Black Demon too.
Monster Quest went after it.
Monster Quest went after it, which that's pretty big deal, and the experts at Monster Quest go after something.
I love Monster Quest
because they 100% of the time find what they're after.
They absolutely do. They are
every time
ingenious people, I tell you. So witnesses actually claim that this shark is large enough to swallow a whale whole. They didn't say what kind of whale, just a whale. So
Brendan Fraser.
Big. Whale. The whale.
Yeah.
I'm not ready.
Copy of The Whale.
I'm not ready to watch that movie, guys. I'm not emotionally prepared. I feel like I'm going to have to be elevated, if you catch my drift, in order to watch that film. Because like that
movie. It's a good flick.
You've seen it?
Yeah, I bought it. I've watched it a couple of times now.
Here's the thing. I don't think
deeply personal film for myself.
Oh man, I don't feel that like I would hate it. I just feel like I'm gonna cry a lot. Like I feel like it's gonna be a really really good movie, but I just feel like I'm gonna cry a lot.
I don't cry during movies. It's only a couple times. Even Evan, we watched The Whale. He thought for sure I was gonna cry because it's just kind of a personal kind of story. And he thought for sure I was going to cry because he started crying.
Aww.
And he was so pissed. He's like, at the end of the movie, I just turned and was like, pretty good flick. That's a good seal. I was like, it's a pretty good flick. That was a good flick. But yeah, it was deeply personal for me to watch that. But,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know last time I cried during a movie, but The Whale, I thought I may have, but it definitely got to me. It was a movie that had me sitting with my eyes glued to the TV. But, but the Black Demon wasn't in it though.
No, not in that one.
That's not the twist in the movie. No. Fraser decides I'm going swimming finally.
Oh, gosh.
And then
I couldn't take it.
What a twist.
I couldn't take it. But it's actually been seen in the Sea of Cortez, which is formerly the Gulf of California. It is described to be up to 60 feet long, so it's ticking that Megalodon box.
Yep.
However, its skin color is black as the night, as witness would say. Hence the name. So the Sea of Cortez is actually home to about 170 different species of sharks, some giant squids, and also some great white sharks as well. So there is definitely a hunting ground there for our friend the Meg or the Black Demon. I'm not too sure if that really is a Meg or if that is... I don't know, man.
Big shark. I mean, big sharks are big sharks.
Big sharks are big sharks.
Now, what's the other one you have?
So the other one I have is actually an older sighting, and this was the 1918 sighting off of Port Stevens. And this was in Broughton Island, and it was a deep water area. And what happened was this was actually an account taken by fishermen, and these were very experienced fishermen. And one day, the fishermen were, fishing not in their normal fishing spot, and they would actually refuse to go back to their routine spot after they saw an enormous shark of unbelievable proportion. All the fishermen would say that the shark was something they'd never seen before. The men did say they'd seen whales before, and they were all very experienced, so they would know if and what kind of shark this was, had they ever seen it before. And plus, these were locals as well. They know what's in their own local waters. Like, they're not just Joe Schmo coming up. And it actually was such a show, honestly. Like, it was such a big deal that it was wrote about in the local paper by a Mr. Stead, which was how we came to know this story. And the reporter would actually go as far as talking to the local fisheries inspector at the time of 1918. And this person, the fishery inspector, would actually say that it had to be a really gigantic creature to put experienced fishermen in such a state of fear and panic.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and I mean, like, this was big enough to, like, write about in the paper. And I mean, you have to imagine, like, in 1918, what kind of scare that would have caused, especially in a place where we're going to go get food and we're going to fish. Like, they totally were like, nope, we're not going over there. We don't give a fuck. And like, they were fishing for lobster. So it's not like, this was a common area. Lobsters go to places that lobsters like. So, I mean, they were basically like, nope, not going back. Don't know what that is. Don't want to know what that is. We're done.
Yeah.
We are done.
Now, did you ever hear about something I read about many times? People always bring it up in kind of Megalodon conversations. Is the shark off Australia that got eaten? Did you ever hear about that?
No. Well, yes, actually, I saw. Was there a video that went along with that?
What it was, like, in I think it was like 2014, 2015, something like that. These researchers in Australia, they like tagged this I think it was like a 9 or 10 foot great white. They tagged it with this tracking dart, and like, it's all going good. It's like they're watching it swim and do all this stuff, and then, like, you can see on the data where, like, all of a sudden it just like plummets to
yes,
this massive depth.
Yes.
And then just goes offline, and they find it, like, they found the transponder later, they was able to track the data, but yeah, it just got like devoured by, like, something just grabbed it and just took it down.
That's freaking crazy. That's insane. Before I forget, I skipped a bullet point on my 1918 story. What was really crazy about this was all the fishermen actually agreed on the ghostly whitish color of the fish. Ooh. So we see two completely different things there. However, going back to your sighting and story, or evidence I should find, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible, because that's tracked data of seeing that. And like, I don't know what would come along and do something like that to a great white shark, because I had heard tale of this story.
9 feet's pretty big.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
It is. It's really big. You know what's really interesting about great whites is the fact that they've never been able to be kept in captivity.
Yeah, never.
That's crazy to me. Like, that's a wild.
There's also, if we're talking about, like, legendary sharks, have you ever heard of Submarine? He's off of the coast of Africa, I think, where Submarine is. Submarine's this, like, mythical, like, 30, 40 foot great white looking shark. And it's just this massive shark that when it comes into an area, like, all the fish flee. And,
shit.
There'll be like no fish for days when a submarine enters. There's water, and like, I think there's even a couple sightings of it, like a couple pictures of, just this big shadow under the water of submarine. That's another, like, I always hear about Black Demon and then also Submarine. That's the other.
Gosh.
That's the other one. And History Channel also did a fake mockumentary of that as well. The submarine.
We're looking into that one.
Yeah, Shark of Darkness is what the submarine movies go, or the mockumentary's called. That's a good one.
Nice.
But
awesome.
Yeah, and then like I think Submarine even has like kind of like supernatural things. Like he's kind of like a voodoo shark or something like that. Like they kind of like because it's African culture, so I think he's some kind of like spirit of vengeance or some kind of like there's some supernatural element to Submarine, I believe. I think the same with Black Demon. I think there's even like in Legends, like he even has some supernatural origins, like he's like a spirit of vengeance or something like that.
That's interesting. Through a lot of culture, water holds a lot of power, like just so much. Like I was actually just talking about it like this week. Actually, that's super weird. But that's super cool. Just to close out here, have you ever heard of Max Hawthorne?
Max Hawthorne. He's a writer, isn't
he? He is.
Does monster books.
He is, yes. He has also come up with a theory about our dear Megalodon, and he is very open with the fact that this is a not well-liked theory. So we're going to touch on it a little bit. What his theory about the Megalodon is that the Megalodon was a scavenger. So basically what would happen is we talked a lot about the Megalodon's massive size and how incredibly big this thing was, how much it weighed, how long it was, the fact that it's made of cartilage and blubber. Not so much blubber, but definitely the cartilage. So a creature of this mass proportion, it would be very hard for it to move around realistically, because we see other whales, or not whales, we see other sharks such as the basking whale, or the basking shark. I really want to call it a whale for some reason. The basking shark, which is, I think it gets 40 feet. It gets up to about...
it gets pretty massive.
It gets pretty big as well. It gets up to
I think they live for like...
Ever.
Hundreds of years.
Ever. Yeah. They live forever. There was one that they had tracked it all the way back to like the time of Queen Elizabeth I. Don't ask me how they did that, but I found it. It's interesting because these 40 feet sharks, who are massive in size, can only swim up to 4 miles per hour. It's very controversial to our Megalodon, who was about 6,000, pounds, or about, metric tons, and could move 16 feet per second. It's also very controversial that the Megalodon could be such a skilled hunter while also being at such a grand size. So what Max Hawthorne theorizes is that our dear Megalodon was a scavenger due to its mere size, and that it wasn't
I've read that, yeah.
It wasn't this fierce predator. However, it was, kind of, I don't want to say a bottom feeder because that's just disrespectful, but it was definitely not as quick to the gill as we would think.
I don't know. I don't like, it's weird because I know there's even like, a theory I read not so long ago about the Tyrannosaurus Rex, where they was claiming basically the same thing. The Tyrannosaurus wasn't this like king lizard, or that we perceive it to be, which dinosaurs are birds, but it wasn't this like king beast like everyone thinks. But it was more of just like it would scavenge and pillage and eat, like the leftovers of other creatures and stuff. And I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't know. It's something that massive. It's gotta be an apex predator, in my opinion.
I know. Yeah. Like, what's the one? Unless they're like the one dinosaurs that are super big but only eat plants. They have like really, really long necks. Brontosaurus. Unless they're like that.
Yeah, but those are like, very obviously herbivores. But I mean, Megalodon, big,
sharp
6 inch, 6 inch serrated teeth.
Teeth. Yeah, it does. Maybe
that just screams to me it's a predator.
Yeah, and maybe in its later years, it maybe evolved into something like that. Maybe. I don't know. I see both sides of the coin on that one because, yes, it is of a massive size and there is a lot of pressure in the ocean. However, we're talking about a species that has lived billions of years. Humans alone have been through their own evolution. Shut up. And it's just incredible what our world can do. So I definitely think there is some sort of megalodon out there, whether it's back to what we may have seen 20 million years ago. That I am not sure. I don't think there would be one. And if there is one, there probably is only one. But I wouldn't be shocked if we saw more big sea creatures kind of pop up over the next decade or so with how the oceans have changed and the tsunamis that have come in have changed coastlines. Of course, what we do with, global warming and whatnot.
Right.
I wouldn't be shocked if we saw way more of these larger sea creatures pop up.
That would be, that's a sight to behold. I'd love that. I love giant sea monsters. My favorite thing.
See, you say that until Cthulhu pops up and then you're going to fuck around and find out. Like the minute, no, I am going like wherever the middle of the land is, like the big land, I'm going to stay there. Like no water, no going to the water.
I think we're far enough inland where we might be fine.
I don't trust it. I want to get to I don't know, like the Dakotas or something. I don't trust it. I need to go to Wisconsin.
So you think there could be a megalodon still somewhere in the depths? Yeah,
absolutely. The ocean's too big. It's too big.
It is. I think it's kind of, it's one of those things where people talk about aliens and it's very arrogant to say there's no such, there can't be aliens. You can't really say what can or can't be at the bottom of our oceans.
Exactly.
It's just so big and vast. I mean, it's hard to tell what's creeping down there in the deep dark of the ocean.
Absolutely. And I mean, we haven't even touched all the sides of the ocean yet. There are waters we've yet to be in. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a bunch pop out. I wouldn't be shocked if really because we're getting mammoths by the end of this year. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
We're getting woolly mammoths back by the end of this year.
Hell yeah.
There is a pregnant elephant out there somewhere currently that is harboring a baby mammoth, guys, just so you know. I found out on the Joe Rogan podcast.
The mammoths are back.
They are back. I don't know what's going to happen. I can tell you one thing. I'm not. It's morbid to say this, however, I'm going to say it. I'm kind of tired of living through once in a lifetime events, y'all. The first few kind of scarred me. So if we could just have a chill next few years where it's we're just kind of settling down and not doing a whole lot, I'm cool with that, y'all. Unless it's the Megalodon, then you release that file and you tell me immediately. But that's what I have.
Well, excellent. Very, very thought-provoking. I mean, Megalodon's fascinating. It opens up just a whole world of imagination of what could be at the bottom of our oceans. And on our next file, we're continuing on Summer at Sea. Here in the next couple weeks, I'm going to explore some things that we've heard deep in the dark depths of our ocean.
Yes, it's very exciting. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing the droning deep, all these mysterious and terrifying sounds that we've picked up over recordings, various different research programs, and what they could be, and what people tell us they could be. But we'll leave it up to our listeners' discretion. Because luckily this is an audio podcast, so we can play all the audio.
Oh, we're gonna play them. Oh,
yeah, we'll play them. We'll let everyone hear them, make their own decision. But we're going to talk about a few very interesting ones, some conspiracies, and some things that surround those recordings. But yeah, the Megalodon, fascinating, and we're seeing the Megalodon is more popular than ever. The Meg came back. And for what it was, it did a thing that I love, and that's reinvigorated the shitty shark movie marketplace, because I'll watch those all day. I can't count how much money Amazon Prime has got for me for having a cover featuring a shark on it. But it happens more than I'd like to admit. But
also,
I'd
really like a Megalodon tooth, and by the airing of this podcast, I will have a PO box. So I love oddities. We talked about it. I would love a megalodon tooth. And Ben and I are getting married, and he would also like one. So
there you go. There you go. Megalodon, very interesting. Great job, Bailey. Summer at Sea is really warming up to be a fantastic event here on Cult Talk Conspiracy. And we thank everyone for joining us here on this nice big summer vacation to the mysterious and terrifying depths of the ocean. You can find us at Cult Talk Net across the board. That's Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all the things. We're very responsive. So if you want to reach out on youtube.com/Cult Talk Net, we have videos of our episodes in there. You can leave a comment critiquing or giving your input on what we've talked about here. And we are very, very quick to respond, and we love to talk to our fans. All our other podcasts, we have Cult of Campbell, which comes out on Mondays. We have Cult of Lore that comes out every first and third Thursday of the month. And if you are on youtube.com, make sure you check out youtube.com/Cult Talk Net, because those guys put up a really great full-length video version of the podcast. So make sure you check that out for an added viewing experience. We got big things coming this summer. Might be some extra little treats being dropped around across Cult Talk Net you can sink your teeth into. But until then, make sure you guys stick around here. In the next couple weeks, you'll get file 022, The Droning Deep, as part of Cult Talk Conspiracy Summer at Sea. And we hope you guys enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I think that does it, Bailey.
I think so too. I'm ready to go lay out on the beach and stay away from the water.
Of course. Make sure you #question everything before you go into the water. I've been Ty.
I've been Bailey.
Question everything.